Well, here we are again in my dining room, ready to exit out onto the deck. Now, I'm giving you a bird's eye view of every growing space that I have. Please understand that I have not cleaned up for this video. This is reality. Now, the table on the right is where I usually keep fresh herbs because it's so near the kitchen. And I have an array of buckets here, 5-gallon buckets, that I have traditionally grown peppers in. I'm not sure what I'm going to do this year. This is a very large self-watering pot at the end that I usually have flowers in, but it has some Christmas evergreens in it. And yes, those are dinosaurs out there. We'll get to those in a minute. As we're coming down the ramp here, our barbecue is on the left. Straight ahead is a small plastic greenhouse that I got last year, where I moved a lot of the onions and things out. They're looking a little worse for the wear, so hopefully those will be going into the garden in the next day or two. Now I even grow down the side of the house. The bed near the top is succulents, and I'll show you those more when they wake up after winter. And this bed is traditionally where I grew my pole beans. However, I think I have different plans for that this year too. Now moving towards our garage, I have a 4-tier, and these are like 6 inches by 2 feet each level. I grew herbs and things here last year. I think this year I'm going to do lettuces. Now just ignore the Christmas tree there on its side. We have another one of them on this side of the garage, so that affords me a little extra. I think I'm going to do lettuce in those this year. I think that would be a great spot for lettuce. Now moving here to the left, this is a 3-foot by 8-foot bed. I have some gray shallots at the edge here that I can see are just starting to poke up their heads. This is my other 3-foot by 8-foot bed by the house. This is where I grew ginger last year. And I have 3 of these green stalk vertical growing chambers, which are really nice. Really, really nice. They're movable. They're easy to keep watered. They're a very nice addition to the garden. Now these are 3 tubs that apparently have seen better days. At the back there I have butterfly bushes at the edge of the deck, and this is my asparagus bed, which this year we can fully harvest from. And these are purple passion asparagus. We did get a few last year and they were absolutely delicious. This is a bed where I have grown dwarf tomatoes, where I've grown some squash, where I've grown tomatillos. I've also grown potatoes. This one gets a lot of different uses. Not quite sure what my plans are for this one this year, although I still might grow dwarf tomatoes down there because they absolutely loved it. And yes, here are the dinosaurs. These were built by my husband for our eldest daughter's wedding reception. The reception was at the Ford Paquette Avenue plant in downtown Detroit, which is where the original Model Ts were produced. And this is who greeted guests, the T-Rex and the Triceratops. And I must say, with those beautiful cars, this became more of a photo op for our guests than the beautiful Model Ts. I'm going to try to pop a picture in here so you can see what they look like in their former glory. But we got used to them, and here they are. Now this bed here also has some garlic in it that has not yet started to come up. And this is a honeysuckle that is quite beautiful once it starts to show itself. This is where I have some of my saffron crocus, which gave us quite a nice little harvest last year. I think I'm going to try to interplant that with leeks this year. This is has been traditionally my tomato bed. It's up against this south-facing wall at the back of our garage. This year I have garlic in the front, but left room for tomatoes because I think I'm going to put my indeterminate tomatoes back there. And these are clips that we have installed that we attach string to, and that's what the tomatoes grow up. So it's a really nice setup for the tomatoes. And these two wooden benches at the sides, that's where we keep rain barrels. This is one of two beds that I have that are 4 feet by 24 feet. I have two arches that span the expanse in between. These are both set up with a drip tape. They're wonderful to have. I hope you can see the arches there. The lighting was weird. Now this is where all the winter sowing stuff is. And on the left are a whole bunch of drop cloths and whatnot because we got a seriously low frost after I know some things had started growing. So we threw some drop cloths on them to see if we can save them. Now this is the only bed we've done some prep in. So that has a new 4-inch layer of compost on top. Hoping to grow perhaps onions in this one this year. Obviously a lot more than just onions, but these cattle panels that we have in between are wonderful for growing. I've grown squash up them. I've grown beans. They're a great way to use a little bit of space that you otherwise would not take advantage of. Now this is our in-ground bed, I will call this, and this has garlic all along the edges growing. This particular section is about 8 feet wide, 30 feet long. This portion becomes 16 feet wide, and I'm going to say at least 30 feet long as well. Again, we have garlic growing down each side. Last year I grew a lot of squash here because this was new last year. Now along the front here I have chives, regular chives, garlic chives, and I also have some of the saffron crocus intertwined here. Now these electrical or utility cables, I'm going to grow beans up those this year just to try to hide how attractive they are in my backyard. So anyway, this is kind of my setup. This area is going to change drastically as everything really starts to wake up and as cleanup happens and as things start to grow. If you'd like to come along with me and watch that transformation, please subscribe. So glad you were here today. And I'm going to say to you all, happy gardening. See you next time. Bye now.